The morning started like any other quiet, calm, and uneventful till I pulled up to the HOA security booth and found Karen herself standing there with a clipboard, a glare sharp enough to cut metal, and a pistol holstered at her hip like she was guarding Fort Knox instead of a suburban neighborhood. She stepped into the road, blocking my truck, and barked, "You can't enter without signing in." New rule. I told her I'd lived there for 9 years and never once had to sign in. But she jabbed the clipboard toward my face and rested her hand on her gun like she thought she was some kind of sheriff. When I hesitated, she pulled the gun halfway out of the holster knot, pointing it, but enough to make her threat clear. I knew right then she'd lost her mind. I signed the paper, but not the way she expected. I scribbled the fakest, sloppiest, most illegible name I could think of, Bartholomew Picklesworth, and drove through before she could complain. Later that afternoon, I went to the HOA office to get proof of her little stunt, because something felt off. The manager said no such sign-in rule existed. In fact, he looked confused when I mentioned it. That's when I pulled out my phone and showed him the recording current stepping in front of my truck, hand on her weapon, forcing me to sign a document she made up. His jaw dropped. He called the HOA board immediately, and within an hour, 2 board members were at my door asking for my statement. They said they had been receiving complaints about Karen, but mine was the tipping point. They called the sheriff's department. When the deputies arrived, I handed them the video and the bogus sign-in sheet. They took one look, confirmed the gun was real, and shook their heads like they'd seen this 100 times. Karen was arrested that evening, screaming about community authority as they cuffed her and put her in the back of the patrol car. Turns out, what she did wasn't just weird, it was criminal. She's now facing 4 felony charges: unlawful detainment, impersonating a security officer, brandishing a firearm, and coercion. The HOA issued me a written apology and removed her permanently. And as for my fake signature, the deputies actually laughed because Bartholomew Picklesworth ended up being the best piece of evidence to prove the whole thing was a sham from the start.